Hi, so for our podcast today, we're going to be talking about a few things regarding the taboo of porn. My name is Penelope.
I'm Alicia.
And my name is Jomar. And in this podcast, we're going to answer three different questions. Our very first question is, how does porn affect your academic performance?
Honestly, that's a really good question. I've never thought about it, but I feel like as Cal students, we have such big academic rigor that we don't think about the time to watch porn. Yeah.
I feel like, because especially within this culture of Berkeley, I feel like it's very much so you're always busy, you're always working. And it's always that pressure. I think everyone kind of feels it at times where you'll see a student and they'll be yeah, I got 30 labs to do and this and that, and then you feel pressure to oh, maybe I should be doing 30 labs. And I feel even that pressure of you not doing anything, you kind of would maybe isolate yourself or the normal depression and anxiety. And then I think we've talked what we've mentioned before, it's really common to do escapism and isolate yourself regarding that. And within that, I mean, porn is so easy to find. You can find soft porn on TikTok nowadays, go on Twitter, you can go on Pornhub. It's so easy to find porn, and I feel it's such an easy thing to do that it's such an easy addiction to slip into as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I completely agree with Penelope and Alicia. But for me personally, I don't think it has a big impact on my academic performance. I've just been used to studying hard and not letting anything else impact my studies. But I do know I have a friend that had a porn addiction, and then I would notice that they would be very lazy, very lethargic, and they're very smart. So it's kind of amusing how, because of their porn addiction, their grades started dropping. And when I asked them about their addiction, they were trying to deny the fact that they were addicted, that it was affecting their academic lifestyle and whatnot. But as a friend that sees them constantly, I can definitely say that, oh, I think this is more than just an addiction. This is affecting your life, affecting your academic life, and maybe your career in the future.
Yeah, I feel that honestly speaks to a lot of people too, because I've also had a lot of friends that have porn addictions, both female and male, and they have talked about how sometimes all they can think about is porn, and they just want to see porn every day. And so I would think that it does contribute to impacting their study time or their homework time. Maybe they could be oh, I'm gonna start studying, but then they're wait, I can just search up porn on my phone. Let me just go do that. And who knows how long they might spend on that instead of studying or focusing on their academics.
Yeah, no, I remember talking to a friend of mine. I've known her since maybe when she was a freshman in high school, and I'm 2 years older than her. But when I was talking to her for a bit, she was telling me how in high school she used to have a porn addiction, and how she would watch porn, and then it would be a day or two would pass, and then she's I should watch some, when she doesn't even feel the need to do it. And so she was saying it was so odd, and how it was kind of hard to break away from that habit as well, because she did find that it was kind of messing with the way that she was thinking about her grades and stuff like that, and how they were all slipping. And so I think it's something so important to acknowledge and kind of have that outreach or discussing it with people, because I believe she told me that she discussed it with some people and are kind of habits and stuff like that, and how she realized that her own habit was unusual. Not everybody watches porn every day or something like that. And so she was oh, I think I should step back. And so I think that's really important to have these discussions as well, is just to kind of make people kind of realize that even though it's not shameful to watch porn, there could be a time where you can overconsume it and it can really affect your life.
Yeah. So I think that brings us to our next question. In your own opinion, do you think porn is harmful or harmless?
Honestly, that's a really good question. I would say that it's a mix of both, because it can harm relationships, both friendships and romantic relationships. I would say I mean, when I think of someone watching porn, I'm thinking that they're also probably masturbating often. So that could probably hurt your body at some point when you masturbate way too much. But I think it can be harmless in the sense, I mean, I could even say, like, from a personal perspective, I remember when I was curious about sex, I would search up porn, and that's how I learned how it happens. And, like, even things like preparing for my first kiss, I'll go, like, Pornhub, and I'll be like, how to kiss. So I think it's not always harmful because it shows you things that, you know, you can't really talk to other people about. Like, no one is just going to show you how to kiss, you know? Like, that's awkward. So I think it's both, honestly.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree that, like, it's definitely a little bit of both. Like, I feel like, okay, this is going to quite a bit personal, but, like, low-key, I can't watch, like, porn itself. Like, it's not necessarily, like, a thing of, like, I find it gross or whatever, but it's just, like, I don't like looking at genitals, like, with on top of genitals and stuff like that. And so, to me, it's kind of gross. So, like, I consume, like, other types of porn, but, like, what's it called? So, I think, like, my way of learning, it's definitely different, and it's definitely more so, like, learning throughout different ways, so like through like books and stuff like that, because I know that's like really like common with women, is like through audios and books and like photos and stuff like that, like. And so I definitely think it's like it's important in a sense of like it's helping like women explore their sexualities, because I know that's a huge problem as well, but I do think it can become a problem within society. What's it called? Because it's like it's so big, everyone does it, and I think it's really prevalent, especially in social media now. Like it can be like someone like posing in some sort of way, maybe a little bit provocative, maybe like it's just someone in a little bit revealing clothing, and then people comment on their bodies, and then people are like, you are like porn rotten brained, or like it can be a person doing some regular thing and then a person will sexualize it. And I think it's definitely such like a gray area, but it can definitely be helpful and harmful in like so many ways. It's very complicated, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, so I agree with both of them. I think that porn is both harmful and harmless. Me personally, I remember, or I use porn if like I can't go to sleep. It's like watching porn and masturbating like is the easiest way to go to sleep because of like, I don't know, serotonin release. But I can see that there is a lot more harmful effects than harmless. Like, I agree with Penelope, like, yeah, you can use, like, porn to learn more about your sex life or something like that, something you can use. But also, there's, like, this difference between reality and expectation. I think pornography is very fantasized to where this is not what really happens in real life. I had to deal with that the hard way. I thought that whatever I saw in porn was what happens in real life. And when I had the chance to perform such acts, I was embarrassed because I realized it was too much. I realized that it was too much and that this is not how regular people do it. So I think that we need to keep in mind that porn is not something that we should rely on heavily, but there are some aspects and factors that we can use as a reference point in a way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because I would say the ways that porn did help me is like I was able to learn what I liked with sex, and I also got some ideas of like, oh, I saw this in a porn video, like I want to try it, and it helped me find new things, but at the same time it also gave me like these expectations that were just like crazy, because I like before I ever had sex I thought like, oh, an orgasm looks like this, but when I were to experience it, it was nothing compared to what I saw in the videos, and I was like, oh, is something wrong with me? But in reality it's just that's how it is, and it's a lot of acting. But I do like how you mentioned that us women, we do digest a lot of porn in different ways other than just videos. Because I personally love like romantasy books, so it has a lot of like smut in it. Yeah, but sure. I personally love it. You know, it's not visual, but like you're reading it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like this is nice, you know. So I personally love it, and it's like I guess I sort of, I guess, taken porn that way more than watching it, but it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and also someone mentioned earlier about how like porn addiction is like really bad. I really agree that it is terrible, just for the fact that I smoke, so I have like sort of an addiction that I'm like openly like I agree. Yeah, I have an addiction with smoking, and like building up to that addiction, I learned that there's steps to building that addiction. First, you're just doing it, and then you use it to cope with something, and then it's like conditioning where once you feel that feeling, you need to smoke. So I feel like that's the same way with porn. That at first you're just doing it for like pleasure, and then next thing you know, you're doing it because you're stressed. Next thing you know, you're doing it because you're bored. And now every time you're stressed or you're bored, your mind goes straight to porn. And I feel like that's a very bad way to associate porn, because it's not helping you. It's destroying a lot of your social relationships, a lot of your time. And I think your mental health is also going down.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love the way that you worded it.
Yeah, I think it was really good. No, I think like what's it called? Oh, it left me. Looking. I think what's it called? I think I'm kind of going back to like the whole like reading and stuff like that about like pornography and stuff like that. I think another like topic that kind of reminds me is just like how like I guess it's not really talked about as well, like because it's like this is the whole reason why we're doing it, because porn is not really talked about. And I do think some avenues of why women tend to like go towards like books and stuff like that, because it's like generally books are nice, the books are fun, they have smut in them, and in some way it is just porn. And I think that is like a huge thing that gets talked about on TikTok as well, and like gets kind of shamed about, is like women going towards like another media and then reading porn and then getting shamed because it's like they're not like really, they're not reading real literacy, they're not doing anything, they're just reading porn. And so I think it's also just like a whole thing of like it's having a porn addiction and like consuming porn, it's a normal thing and it's not talked about, but it's also when it does get talked about, it gets shamed about as well. And I think this is why it's so important to talk about it, because I feel like even now, just like talking to you guys, like low-key, I got so much more comfortable with like talking about my own experiences and stuff like that. And I feel like if people start to have those conversations, it gets like a lot easier for people to normalize it. And even like I said before, like how my friend like talked to other people about it and then realizing their habits. So then like if they talk to other people about their own habits, they can realize that like maybe I need to do something about it.
Yeah, I agree. And I really like how you pointed out the fact that like porn comes in so many shapes and forms, and porn addiction isn't just about like watching porn, but it can be about reading, it can be about like listening to it, like quite literally anything. And like you said, like short form or soft porn, like you know, there's people that will just watch like soft porn on like TikTok or like OnlyFans models, you know, they might not be having sex, but they'll be like nude or something, and it's like soft porn. So I think it's important to recognize that it comes in many other shapes and forms, and to think about how we could address all the different, you know, areas of porn
for sure.
addiction.
Yeah, because also I remember from when I was a kid, every time we would watch like a Disney film, for example, right? And there's like a scene where like the princess is kissing the prince. Like I just remember my mom would just cover my eyes. So that instinctively was like, oh, anything kissing, like public display of affection, anything like that is just like taboo and like not spoken about. So I grew up in a culture, like in an environment where this is not really openly expressed. And I feel like a lot of people feel the same way, to the point where we really shun a lot of like porn or like anything that is not, what's a good word for it? I forgot the word, but let's just say taboo.
Okay.
Right? Let's just say taboo.
Stigma?
Yeah, like there's a stigma to it. That anything, like even holding hands sometimes can be like ooh, like in middle school kids, like oh, they're holding hands, ooh, they're kissing.
Yeah.
And like now as adults, college students going into the real world, we're still ashamed of talking about our sexual lives and like porn consumption.
Yeah, and I really like how you mentioned that because I've had friends where like they talk about going on dates or they talk about like being with their significant other and they'll like whisper like, "Oh yeah, we were like kissing." Or like
Yeah.
we were making out. But it's like you don't have to whisper about those things.
No, yeah, I think that reminds me of like one of my friends. He's like recently just like starting to explore his like sexuality and stuff like that. But even also, like just like going like opening his like just exploring sex in general and stuff like that. And he'll talk to like me or my friend, and then he'll be like, "Yeah, cause we had sex," and we're like, "You don't need to whisper it. Like we're not gonna like judge you.
Yeah.
Like we've done things. Like it's not like a thing that like." You should be ashamed about. And even like because I know the friend that like he talks to her too as well, like me and her, we like make jokes all the time, like we make sex jokes, like it's a thing that we're both comfortable with. But like she was telling me that like he was trying to make it sex jokes and just be like kind of awkward with it, like, oh, we were just holding hands, like yada yada yada, and we're just like, you're holding hands with a person, like, yeah, that's great, but it's like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like it's a normal thing to do. And I think like public, yeah, it's like a whole thing of like showing affection, like talking about all these things. It's so stigmatized, and I think that brings like so much shame to people when they want to talk to other people about it and they're afraid that they're going to get judged by other people.
I agree. Yeah, we should be able to talk about these things in public without having to whisper about it. And it's something that I've started to try to do with my friends. Like, if I'm talking about my own sexual experiences, I don't whisper anymore. I'm like, yeah, you know, this happened. Like,
Yeah.
And I think it's just contributing to trying to make this topic not as taboo.
Yeah, I also think it's like a really important thing to like establish like boundaries, because I know when my like friend was starting to like get into like that kind of like hookup culture and stuff like that, she would want to tell me stories and like crazy things that happen, but then she's like, what are you comfortable with, you know, like how like detailed do you want me to talk about, like what are you comfortable with? And like I'm really chill about it, so like I don't really care. But like I do think like even when it comes to that, like you really need to know like people's how comfortable they are, because like even though like we want to like make people more comfortable, we want people to talk about it, it's still a stigma and it's still a taboo. And it's like people will have different levels of comfortability with it, and eventually like maybe it'll open up. But like, you know, it's so important to like also have those boundaries and know where your boundaries lie as well.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Okay, I think we should move on to our next question. How can college students build healthier relationships using porn?
I think we mentioned this in our slides and in our presentation, but I think that a great way is setting boundaries. Kind of similar to like, you know, when talking to friends, figuring out their comfortability level, but I think it's also taking that time to look within yourself and acknowledge like, hey, I have a porn addiction. How can I cut this down? And, you know, there's ways that you could reach out to like counselors and they can help you build kind of a plan to be like, okay, well, in the next week, like typically, like for example, someone watches porn every single day. Like, okay, let's cut it down to 6 days and then maybe 5 days a few months later. But I think it's just first acknowledging it and then creating a plan.
No, yeah, I definitely do agree, like, how to cut back as a college students, because it's, like, we're stressed. Like, there's so, like, I feel like whenever we're so stressed about things, it feels like we have a billion things to do.
Yeah.
And then it's, like, you know, you got a billion things to do, but you somehow find that little slot to, like, jack off to, like, porn, like, within, like, your week. And I think, like, even just, like, realizing that, like, hey, like, I'm so busy, I'm so stressed, but I still am making time for this thing, and it's destroying my life or something like that. And it's like, I do agree, like, kind of, like, acknowledging what it is, like, like I said before, like, being open and, like, talking about it with other people or even friends. And then, you know, there's, like, so many resources in Berkeley for it, like, going to cabs, there's, like, sexual therapists, I think. Yeah, there's sexual therapists here, even just, like, going out and resourcing like your own therapist or even just your friends in general. Like I feel like that can be like such a big help for people and gaining plans and realizing your own habits and things like that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways college students can build healthier relationships using porn. I think one way that pops straight into my head is that if you're in a relationship and you guys want to spice things up, I think like earlier mentioned by Penelope, like you can use porn as a reference for certain things that you would want to try. Like we had a lecture about BDSM, and right off the bat I genuinely don't know anything about it, but if ever me and my partner would want to try it, my first instinct is to just go straight to like a porn website and then search BDSM, see what they're doing, and see if like my partner and I will agree to doing this. Like consent is a big thing. Like you don't want to do anything to one another that you're not comfortable with. And I think another way you can use porn is that actually that's my only point. Sorry, that's the only point I can think about.
Really good.
Well, I would say that's totally relatable because there's been times where like I talk to my friends and with my partner like, hey, like what do you guys do? You know, like they'll be like, oh yeah, like we're super vanilla, or the opposite, or have you guys ever taken like those like tests that tell you like if you're kinky or not, like the BDSM test.
Or like the rice purity.
Ones.
Yeah. So like I've taken like silly tests like that to just kind of see like, okay, what am I into? And after I get my results, I like look into it like on Pornhub and stuff. And then like if I'm like, you know, I'm gonna try this, like I order stuff if I need it. But it's definitely been like a fun way to figure out, you know, like build a healthy relationship with sex by making sure it's enjoyable. But I think it's really important to also recognize that like masturbation and watching porn isn't always bad. And as students we can recognize like sometimes, you know, you do sometimes just need to go like masturbate and watch porn because you're so stressed. I think it's just figuring out a healthy amount, like maybe not every day, but like okay, once a week, sure, like you know, that's valid. Like we're humans. We're gonna want to do that. So, yeah.
I think. Okay, I forgot what the question was.
How can college students build healthier relationships using porn?
I think like you guys like mentioned, like, you know, like if you're already curious about something, you go onto Pornhub and then you kind of like look at what it is. But I also think like this is a whole other topic and it's a huge topic. But I think it's like I've been seeing like a lot of recently about like how media literacy is like going really down and stuff like that. And as like I hate to be this kind of person, like, but like what's it called? Like I think it is really important that like when you do watch like porn for that type of research and stuff like that, you do have to try to acknowledge that like this is something that it's fully acted out. This is not like a realistic thing. Like yes, you can like there's aspects where it's like maybe I'm interested in things like that, but I do feel like it should be important to like acknowledge that like this is just like this is scripted or like this is not truly what it should be or represent. And I do believe that like porn is so important to like explore your sexualities, whatever avenues that people want to go through, books, audios, soft porn, whatever they want to do. But I really do think like college students should really acknowledge that kind of thing, especially with this kind of like stuff. And then like also like finding other avenues to like displace their stress. You know, like people are gonna do what they want to do. They can displace with like porn, with like smoking or like drugs and stuff like that, and obviously like that's a whole nother can. But like I think it's also just like whole like thing of like maybe like instead of watching porn like every day, you one of those days you draw, you read a book, you do something. And so I think it's also really important to like establish that like healthy relationship with porn, and then try to like disengage with it if you notice that it's getting too much, and to try to like displace it with something else, because sometimes people masturbate because they're bored, they're stressed and stuff like that, obviously. And so I feel like once people like kind of realize that to themselves, they can try to have other avenues of which to like kind of displace that in other sort of ways.
Yeah. And on that note of consuming porn too much, I think like one way of using porn for like healthier relationships doesn't necessarily mean with like a significant other. It can be with like your friends, your parents, like your siblings. Like I feel like using porn as an outlet sometimes, like you can see a lot about what you're struggling with, and you can use that. If you're aware that you have a porn addiction, you can use what you're watching and then talk to it with like a therapist or like a psychologist to find like a deeper meaning to why you're watching like these genres and why you're so addicted to porn, so that they can help you build a stronger relationship with other people.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, it has me thinking about something that we haven't addressed, which is like building a healthy relationship with porn is not just with others, but also with yourself. So I think it's also finding like personal, like confidence, even like,
Right.
you know, feeling confident in your own body, like in your own sexuality, and even during sex, like not feeling scared and being like, hey, like I feel like I know what I'm doing. Maybe like I feel comfortable in my own body, I feel comfortable masturbating, like things like that. But I would say there might even be college students who have gone into the sex industry, like become sex workers, or whether that's through like OnlyFans or creating like soft porn, or even becoming porn stars to a sort. Like there are college students that do go down that route, whether to pay for like tuition or other things. But I think that it can be a healthy way of figuring out who you are and also feeling comfortable in your body, because if you're comfortable like posting yourself like that, then maybe you're just very confident, and that's great. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I honestly, like, low-key, I didn't think about, like, those two topics that you guys talked about, like, how, like, I think it is, like, kind of, like, a thing that people talk about, like, kind of, like, almost tease, almost, not, of, like, they notice that some person has the king, and they're like, oh, you got, like, daddy issues, like, that type of thing, and I do think, like, porn is, like, a great avenue to, like, kind of, like, you know, acknowledge that between yourself and, like, maybe with a therapist, but I also do, like, think, like, it's a whole other thing, like a whole other cans of like kink shaming and stuff like that, which is also like needs to be talked about. But I do definitely agree, like it is like some avenue to like help out, like maybe you do have like something that you need to solve, and like maybe it is like something like that, or maybe not, maybe you just really do like whatever you like. And like the whole thing of like insecurities as well, like I do think like maybe some people like go towards porn because they're insecure, maybe they like do stuff to themselves because of that, or maybe they're just too nervous and stuff like that. And so I do think like gaining the self-confidence within yourself to like what's it called, like engage with other people, and like what's it called, okay, it's like I'm blanking what I wanted to talk about, but like, you know, just like wanting to be like more confident with yourself, like display like how you want to be displayed and stuff like that. And like insecurity comes with a lot of stuff, not knowing your boundaries and stuff like that. And so I do think like when it comes to watching porn, like it is like a thing of like kind of like exploring everything and like knowing who you are as a person, and maybe it will actually help you out a lot.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think about like one time I was on FaceTime with one of my really close friends, and she was like, you know, like I recorded me and my like partner having sex. I was like, okay. And then she was like, I'm gonna look through it. And I didn't see the video, but she was watching it as we were on FaceTime. And she's like, okay, wait, like I do good. Like this, I look good. And she was like, wow, like that's crazy. Like I'm really doing that. I was like, I'm proud of you. Like, and so it just is like a way some people like film themselves or take pictures, and it helps boost their confidence. Like she was like, you know, maybe I'm really good at this. Like, and she was complimenting herself as she was watching herself like have sex in the video. So sometimes it's a form of people gaining more confidence.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I guess we are getting close to time, so maybe we could start wrapping up. Maybe we can mention like what was your favorite thing that we talked about today. Or any takeaways you want people to take.
Yeah, I think one takeaway is that you should use porn in a way that can benefit you and not drag you down a deep hole to where you're relying on it on your daily lives. I feel like a lot of people misuse porn, and it takes them down the wrong road and just dismantles their whole plan. Especially like people in Berkeley, they're very smart, very driven. Like one subtle mistake like that, one addiction like that can really ruin your entire life.
I agree. Yeah, I would say one of my favorite things that we talked about was how sometimes students use it as a form to take away stress. But I would say if someone were to take something away, it's that it's completely normal to watch porn. It's okay. It's in our nature, but it's always important to make sure we're not overdoing it.
No, yeah. Just so I don't touch on like the same things, because I do want to really acknowledge that like it's very much so okay to watch porn. Like I think most of our topics like we did talk about, like it's like we talked about such bad about porn in here, but I think like we all like really acknowledge like porn is good, you know, like as much as much as like we like what's it called, like when it's it's stigmatized and all that kind of stuff. What's it called? It is a good way to like explore yourself, gain confidence, explore sexualities, explore other things about yourself that you didn't know. And so I do think that's like one of the big takeaways, that like it's okay to do it. But I think it's such a slippery slope, and it's okay if you do go through that, and there are resources that you can go to if you ever find yourself to go into them.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for listening to our podcast today. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.